From 13 ABC, Conklin and Company, with 13 ABC Action News anchor Lee Conklin. First, with what's happening behind the headlines. And Take 3, our panel of political analysts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Conklin and Company. Today on the program, we're going to veer off from the campaign trail and salute a pair of Toledo favorites. One Toledo tradition resuming after a summer off. Another saying so long to tens of thousands of viewers who have come to know her over the course of her 20 years here at 13 ABC. Our conversation with Susan Ross Wells coming up a little bit later. She begins a new chapter in her professional career beginning this coming week. But first, a visit with the longtime tournament director, the only tournament director of the Jamie Farr Toledo Classic. He is, of course, Judd Silverman, back for what has become an annual visit to Conklin and Company. Great to see you, Judd.
Good to be here.
Sometimes I see you, I'll be running, you'll be riding your bike, you know, on our break in the evenings. But
never I'm running and you're riding a bike, that's for sure.
But right now it's nose to the grindstone time, a week away from Sunday that leads into Jamie Farr week. And summer hiatus because of the Senior Open last year.
Right.
Back at it this year, and there's so many questions, Judd. Is the Farr coming back? Is the Farr coming back? Well, last summer, those questions answered, and here you are once again.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming back, and we have a new 3-year contract with the LPGA. Very exciting. So this is year 27, and you know, the actual tournament will be August 9th through the 12th.
Right.
3 days of pro-ams leading up to it, and all our pro-ams are sold out. And we have 3 presenting sponsors. We've sort of gone back to our old name, the Jamie Farr Toledo Classic, presented by Kroger, Owens Corning, and Owens, Illinois has jumped up into that level. So have to commend those 3 companies for making this all possible, and then about 200 other companies that financially support our cause. And you know, the tournament, thanks to loyal sponsors, loyal volunteers, great coverage from the media, has been able to generate $7.4 million for over 100 Northwest Ohio children's charities through the years, Lee. So, you know, this is really Toledo's tournament, and that's the fun for our staff, to be able to work with great people, great sponsors, great volunteers every year who make it happen.
You have this down pretty well, Judd. I can just walk away and you can just take over this segment.
I'll get off my little...
You know what you're doing.
No.
We've talked over the years about where the LPGA has come and the struggles that it has endured. But through it all, this tournament endures. And maybe you can speak, and I know you volunteers, local companies, local businesses, but this tournament fights through all of it, all the economic troubles and the challenges the LPGA has faced. Tell us about that and how it's able to overcome those challenges.
Well, I mentioned the word loyalty, and you know, when you have wonderful companies like Owens Corning and Kroger and Owens, Illinois sort of leading the way, but you know, there's about 200 other companies.
Absolutely.
I wish I could name them
This
all.
community embraces this golf tournament, and Jamie has obviously has, you know, a ton to do with it.
I was certainly going to get to that. You know, his loyalty for Toledo and this tournament is second to none. This is our 27th year, as I said, and Jamie has yet to miss a tournament. You know, if he's got some theater going on, he always makes sure that in his contract he negotiates this week off. Because he does a lot of theater work these days. But
always busy. It seems
he's amazing.
Yes.
He really is. He's 77 years old. He's got more energy than I could ever imagine, even at my old age. But you know, he's excited to come back. This is a great week for him, and it's wonderful for the community to be able to interact with Jamie. But you know, I don't think the LPGA has ever been as strong as it is right now. I mean, you've got the greatest women players in the world all playing on the LPGA Tour. So, you know, these gals that will be out at Highland Meadows next week, you know, they're from Asia, they're from Europe, they're from South Africa, they're from South America, they're from Canada, they're from Mexico, and obviously the United States. So it's nice when you can when you have that package of all the greatest players in the world.
It is the world's best player.
Right, where, you know, on the men's tour, a lot of those guys play the European Tour. Some play the Asian Tour. They come together for the major championships, but week in and week out, you know, it's sort of a mixed bag a little bit. But on the LPGA Tour, all of the greatest players in the world travel together and compete against each other. So, you know, we have an unbelievable field. 18 of the top 20 Ai Miyazato.
Is it the best you've ever had?
Yeah, I would say it's very, very close.
Because typically the tournament runs is sandwiched between a major where maybe travel's difficult.
No question.
But this appears to be one of the strongest fields you ever had.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that appealed to us about this particular date. We were able
a little bit later, right?
We were able to negotiate this date because we got a look at the schedule, and we saw that there's a week off leading up to our tournament, and then there's 3 tournaments: Toledo, Portland, and Canada, and then another week off. And we've been around long enough, we know that the greatest players will play 3 weeks in a row. Now, when there's 6 tournaments in a row and maybe a major championship in there, they will start to pick and choose. So
one of the game's greatest players, Na-Young Choi?
Na-Young Choi, our defending champion, who just won the U.S. Women's Open Championship in Kohler, Wisconsin a couple weeks ago. What a young lady. You know, when she won the Jamie Farr in 2010, Lee, she really could not communicate in English. And I give her all the credit in the world. She got tired of that. And she started taking English lessons. And by the time she came back for our media day a couple weeks ago, she stood up in front of the media, answered all their questions in English, did not need an interpreter, and with a smile on her face. And she's just a great young lady. And you know, she's vying for that #1 spot in the world right now, along with Toledo-born Stacy Lewis, who's the highest-ranking American in the world rankings right now. Stacy's ranked 3rd in the world or 4th in the world. And then you've got Ai Miyazato, the great Japanese player who's coming, who's right now #1 on the LPGA money list this year. So between Ai Miyazato, Na-Young Choi, Stacy Lewis, and Yanni Seng, we've got the 4 top players in the world, and then, you know, the rest of the cast is equally as strong. So we've got all the great American players: Paula Creamer, Morgan Pressel,
former champion, right?
Yeah. Natalie Gulbis, Michelle Wee, Christy Kerr, Brittany Lincecum, Brittany Lang. So just a wonderful field, and 2 great sponsors exemptions, the 2 top collegiate players in the country, and should be a great week.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What year now? 27 years. Judd Silverman, Jamie Farr Toledo Classic. More coming up in the next week or so. And then for the Farr Week, and we'll have Jamie Farr on this program as we do each and every year. Judd Silverman, thanks very much.
Thanks, Lee.
Back in just a minute, a salute to Susan Ross Wells. Right